Tonight, they aired that there will be a battle royal to determine the new Women's World Champion due to Rhea Ripley getting injured. I hate it. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I hate it. It's lazy. And I think doing a battle royal is pretty darn lazy. And also, I'm still a bit upset, not fully, but I'm still a little bit upset that Rhea gets hurt and she has to immediately vacate her title. But Seth Rollins hopped around on one leg and even ran around with an injured back. Because how many times throughout Seth's run did they talk about how he's had back problems? How he was having back problems and all that. And let's not forget, he tore his meniscus. And he also tore his meniscus and wrestled both nights at WrestleMania. But he was still able to keep the World Heavyweight title and not vacate his immediately. But Rhea sprains her wrist. Title gone. I don't know. I just don't like that. I think that's pretty unfair. I think that's kind of unfair. I think, if you ask me, I think that's a little bit unfair. So they announced a battle royal to determine who is going to become the next Women's World Champion. Basically, all the active women that are on the Raw roster are going to be in this battle royal, except for the ones that are injured, like Rhea, Raquel, and Nikki Cross. Xia Li was also supposed to be in this battle royal, but she kinda got released from WWE today. So did Jinder Mahal and both members of Indashir. So yeah, they all got released today. But yeah, so they all ended up getting released today. Yeah, so basically, all the active women on the Raw roster are going to be in this Battle Royal, and that's the problem. And that's the problem with this whole thing. Like, Rhea had this damn belt for a year, for 380 days, tying Bayley as the longest reigning champion with that title. She tied Bayley with the record of longest reigning champion. And Rhea made this belt super important, and your best way to determine the next contender is a battle royal? I hate battle royals. They're so lazy. NXT does so many of those battle royals. I've seen, how many times have I, been on social media and I see NXT doing a battle royal to determine, the next contender for the NXT Women's Championship? Like, it's so freaking lazy. It's so freaking lazy, and I hate it. Like, it would have been better if they did, a tournament. Like, a freaking championship tournament. The finals take place at Backlash in France. You have the finals take place at France, or just do what they did with what they were doing with LA Knight and AJ Styles. Just do triple threats or fatal four-ways. Just do, multiple triple threats or fatal four-ways, and then the winner of those fight each other in the main event. And that's the biggest issue I have. They've been way too darn lazy with this. And also during the Triple H era that everyone likes to praise for some weird ass reason. They'll praise everything about the Triple H era except for the music. Everything is perfect in the Triple H era except for the music, which personally I don't hate. But regardless, people always talk about how great the Triple H era is, but the problem with this Battle Royal is that it's way too predictable. When you see the participants in that match, there is only going to be 3 people that are going to win. Becky, Liv, and Nia. Those are the only 3 people in this entire Battle Royal that are the most obvious people that are going to win. And people like to rag on Rhea Ripley, give Rhea Ripley shit. People talk about how Rhea Ripley's title reign was terrible, as she lack of title defenses and all that. Well, let me tell you why she rarely ever defended her title. Let's look at the Raw Women's Division. The Raw Women's Division has Katana Chance and Kaden Carter as a tag team. You got Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell as a tag team. You got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who are a tag team. You've also got Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree, who are also a tag team. Long story short, the Raw Women's Division, you've even got Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, who are a tag team. Long story short, the Raw Women's Division are full of tag teams. Like, come on, really? They're full of tag teams, and you're gonna give Rhea Ripley crap for not defending her title? Like, why should she defend her title against Katana Chance? I mean, hell, Katana's a very talented wrestler, but why should she be defending her title against someone that's in a tag team? Same thing with Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, though I would love to see those matches. Oh yeah, Natalya and Tegan Nox are also a tag team. That's the problem with the Raw Women's Division. They have nothing but tag teams. There are only a few singles wrestlers. Valhalla, Sarah Logan's a manager for the Viking Raiders. Nikki Cross is out injured. Or whatever the hell's happened to Nikki. Nikki Cross ain't there, whatever the hell's happened to her. And then you've got Raquel, who's out of action with health problems with her skin. The Raw Women's Division is just lacking. That is the problem. That is why Rhea's title reign was booked the way it was. It's not Rhea's fault. That's not Rhea's fault. That's on Triple H. He was hell-bent on just creating tag teams. And the other problem with this Battle Royal is that, again, as I said, Becky, Liv, and Nia are the only optional winners. They're gonna be the final 3. It's gonna be way too predictable and way too obvious. They're gonna be the final 3. No one believes that, like, it would have been so much, like, if Triple H really wants to surprise his audience, he should pull a swerve. Give the belt to Tegan, or Candice, or Indy. Give it to, I don't know, Piper Niven. Give it to Piper Niven, so then she can go to Scotland as champion. Give her a big moment in Scotland as the world champion. You know, you could, like, that's the problem with the Raw Women's Division. There's no other viable contenders. You can keep saying that, oh, this person should be champion, or this person should be champion, or hell, this person would look great with the title, but WWE have done nothing to make you believe they can win that title. Why do you think they had Naomi and Tiffany from SmackDown to go to Australia to participate for a title that they have no business to compete for inside the Elimination Chamber? Because out of all the girls on Raw, they had no other viable contenders. SmackDown have more contenders than Raw. SmackDown have Jade, Bianca, Io, Asuka, Kairi, Dakota, Naomi, Tiffany. SmackDown actually have contenders that can compete for the belts. While Raw, they just have none. They just have no they have no contenders. Which is why Raw struggles. Which is why the Raw Women's Division has struggled for so long. Now, I know some people may say, now I know a few people, I've heard some people say, you know, well, they're going to be in Ohio on Monday Night Raw, why can't they just have Alexa Bliss come back and just win the whole Battle Royal. Well, unfortunately, to break the hearts of those people, I'm going to say no. Alexa Bliss should not be doing that. And the reason why I say that is not because I hate Alexa Bliss, and it's not because I don't want her champion, and I personally don't care if it's been 6 years since she was last champion. That doesn't concern me. My main problem, my main worry about that is the fact that she's been gone for basically nearly a year at this point. Well, at least maybe a year or two. I can't even remember when her match with Bianca Belair happened. If it was at Royal Rumble 2002 or Royal Rumble 2023, I can't remember when it bloody happened. I can't even remember when it bloody happened. I know that was Alexa's last match, but I can't remember when that actually happened. I can't even remember when that last happened. It's been too long. So, that's kind of my problem right now. That you can't just have Alexa come back and win the title. Yes, we've seen that happen many times. We saw that happen when Charlotte Flair came back and beat Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. We saw it happen when John Cena. Remember when John Cena dropped the WWE title to Daniel Bryan when he had a shoulder injury? What was John Cena's first match back? He versed Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title. And that was his first match back. I'm just saying, we've seen this happen many times before in the past, where people just walk on back and they get title shots straight away. And they either win the title immediately, or they're just shoved straight back into the title scene. And I'm just saying, I don't like that. I hate it. I think it's unfair. I know people want Alexa Bliss to get that hometown pop, but you can do it in so many other ways than just chucking her in a meaningless battle royal. This battle royal is pointless. It's pointless. It's meaningless. It's lazy. Why would you want Alexa to win a lazy-ass battle royal? Wouldn't you want Alexa Bliss to win her first title in 6 years at SummerSlam? Because they're in Cleveland at SummerSlam. They're going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. Why not wait until then? Why not have Alexa Bliss win the title in her hometown at SummerSlam against Bayley or whoever the Women's World Champion is? Probably most likely Bayley. In my opinion, that sounds way better. To me, that sounds way better than just chucking her in a battle royal just for the sake of a hometown pop. Now, I don't think... Charlotte Flair is another case. We've seen Charlotte Flair, get through her recovery really damn quickly when it comes to her injury. So, could you make a case for Charlotte Flair to come back and be a part of this? I mean, it could very well happen. But again, just like with Alexa Bliss, I just talked about before how Charlotte Flair came back and won a title immediately. And again, and though I love Charlotte Flair, I still think it's unfair to just have her come back and win a title. But the point I'm trying to make is that this battle royal is pointless. We already know that Liv, Nia, or Becky are gonna win. It'll come down to one of them. We already know it's gonna come down to them as the final three people in this battle royal. No one believes that Candice LeRae is gonna win. Indy Hartwell, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Tegan Nox. No one's gonna believe that anyone other than Liv, Nia, or Becky are gonna win the battle royal. That's the problem. Triple H should just pull a damn swerve on everyone and just have an unexpected winner to really drive home the anything can happen in WWE aspect. Why do you think I loved the WWE back then? Because anyone could win. But nowadays, it's just, we know who's going to win due to popularity. We know who's going to win because of how the company views somebody. That's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is that WWE has done nothing to build up the Raw Women's division and make every single person on Raw viable contenders. And that is not on Rhea Ripley. And none of that was on Rhea Ripley. None of that was Rhea Ripley's fault. That is on Triple H. That's on Triple H. He's the one that should have been focusing on building up everybody else within that division. But no, Monday Night Raw's division is 90% tag teams and 4 singles wrestlers. 5 if you count Raquel. 5 if you count Raquel because Rhea Ripley's in there and you got Becky and Liv. So there's barely any singles competitors. Yes, Alexa Bliss and Carmella coming back and being thrown into that battle royal could make things interesting. But I'm just saying, I just can't see them coming back and being a part of this. I definitely believe they're going to have Liv Morgan win because of the fact that she was the one that injured Rhea. She was the one that injured Rhea. They're going to have Liv Morgan be the champion. And they're going to have her brag about having Rhea's baby. And then when SummerSlam rolls around, Rhea Ripley might be cleared by SummerSlam. Rhea's going to be cleared by SummerSlam time. They're going to do Rhea and Liv at SummerSlam. And then Rhea's going to win the title back. And all that from Liv. Giving her like a 3-month reign or something. Like a 3-4 month reign. And all that stuff. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm just saying. It's just, like, that's the major problem with Raw. They should, like, the only reason why they're doing this now is so that way they can at least have a champion for the WWE draft next week. Because they don't want to have a title vacated and the title can't be drafted because, because, you know, they have no champion. I mean, of course you can wait. Of course you can wait. I'm not, like, the title being vacated makes things interesting. You could have just done the draft. Raw could have had a completely improved and better division, and then you could have done a tournament. Then you could have done a tournament with the refreshed Monday Night Raw roster, and then you could have had the winner. Then you could have done a tournament with the refreshed Raw roster, with a completely refreshed Raw roster, or SmackDown, depending on what they do, and then do a tournament, and then boom. They didn't have to rush a champion in just for the sake of the draft. They could have easily waited until the draft is over, and then they could have easily said, you know what, we're going to wait until the draft is over, and then we see who we have on each roster, and then depending on where the belt goes, we'll do a tournament to determine the next champion. It's so simple. It's way more simpler. It's just way more simpler that way. Instead of just doing it with the lackluster Raw roster with 90% tag teams and 3 singles wrestlers, it just makes it way too obvious in my opinion. So that is my thoughts on this tournament, this battle royal I should say, to crown a new women's world champion. I'm not a fan. Battle royals are really darn lazy. And yeah, I think Liv Morgan's winning this battle royal because it's really obvious. Thank you all for joining me. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the other side.